For many players, it was a shock in 2013 to see Johnny Klebitz in GTA 5, but the biggest shock was seeing him being brutally taken out by Trevor. For players who played the Biker DLC in GTA 4, Johnny Klebitz and the Lost were simply outstanding, something truly phenomenal. And seeing both Johnny and the Lost so weak and debilitated just 5 years after the Biker DLC raises many questions. And let's start by answering one of the main questions. What happened to the Lost MCs after the end of the Lost and Damned DLC in GTA 4? Well, just to recap the story for those who are not very familiar with this universe. At the beginning of the GTA 4 DLC, we have the return of Billy Gray to rule the gang. Billy Gray was in a rehabilitation center, and now he's back to lead the Lost MC. Therefore, Johnny, who was the president of the motorcycle club, returns to being the second in command. And this is going to result in several conflicts, because Billy wasn't very concerned about keeping the Lost together. He was much more interested in personal conflicts, and that's where he starts several fights, like unnecessary fights with members of the Angels of Death. And in the middle of the brawl, they get involved in situations that could have made a lot of money with stolen drug merchandise from bikers, but they try to sell it and fail repeatedly, showing that luck really wasn't on the side of the Lost. And after some brawls, which already leave a tense atmosphere there, between Johnny and the president of the motorcycle club, Billy Gray, at a certain point in the game, you will negotiate with the Triad the return of some stolen drugs, and basically Billy leaves you to die along with your friend Jim at the hands of the Triad, who didn't want to negotiate. And I understood that Billy somehow already knew about it, and as a way to get rid of Johnny once and for all, basically he handed Johnny over to the Triad. As a sort of divine punishment, the police see the mess that's happening there between the Triads, and Johnny and Jim, who is his friend, end up catching Billy Gray, who was on probation, and take him back to jail. Billy believes that this was a setup by Johnny to have him arrested. He decides to get revenge by snitching on Johnny and incriminating him for trafficking, among other things. All of this from inside the prison, because Billy Gray has been arrested before. In the beginning, he gets out of prison, where he was also in rehab, probably released for good behavior and such, and then in a short time he goes back to prison, but this time believing that it was the vice president of the motorcycle club, Johnny, who betrayed him. When Billy decides to start incriminating Johnny, Johnny invades Alderney City Prison and manages to put an end to Billy for good. But by this point, the Lost are practically destroyed, and their meeting point, right, which was kind of their headquarters there, is burned down in the end, kind of representing that now it will be a new era, right, as if the Lost were already gone, and from now on, everyone would live normal lives and such. There is even a connection that talks a little about this with one of the former team members, Angus.
Angus, man.
Chapter president?
I'm president of a burnout house and some broken-ass brothers. It's dead, man. It's over.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I'll probably keep sending money to Jim's old lady and her kid. I owe him that.
We all do.
Beyond that, I'll probably try to cut my ties.
What about Ashley?
Ashley? The ice got her good. I finally cut her loose in my head, man. I don't know what's left for her other than that need to fuck up everything around her. You've been a good friend, Angus.
You're a good man, Johnny. Things should have worked out better for you.
Things should be better for a whole heap of people. It don't work out that way, do it? Adios, amigo.
But even after all that, 5 years later, we see the Lost in Blaine County with 4 very important people from the time of the Lost. In 2008, Terry, Clay, who were Johnny's partners, Ashley, who is Johnny's girlfriend, and mainly Johnny. So how did this happen? Why was the gang revived, and why did it leave Liberty City? Well, let's go. Most likely sometime after the end of the club, the former members realized that they couldn't live ordinary lives, right? Like Terry, Clay, Johnny. Ashley I don't count because she's just an addict. And then these guys found themselves in a moment that probably they couldn't live without their brothers at heart, and also couldn't live away from their criminal lives. However, at this point in the game, there was no longer space for the Lost MC within Liberty City, because during the DLC we saw that they had weakened a lot from what they were in the beginning to what they became in the end. Due to conflicts with rival gangs, the police, disputes with the mafia, among various other things, they were so weak that they would not have enough strength and influence to revive the gang within Liberty City, Alderney City, and so on. So in a way, the most sensible thing would be for them to change location. Considering that the gang had practically lost everything during the DLC period, they had few members, little money, no headquarters, and many enemies. The choice of the new location was in Blaine County, where the methamphetamine market was growing. It was there to have a boom, and there was an opportunity for the gang to establish itself again and grow, and that's where they went. Now that it's explained how Johnny and the Lost likely ended up in Blaine County, we have the final question of what happened to Johnny. It's strange not to have so much information about it. In fact, there are many unanswered questions in Rockstar games. Like, for example, what are the consequences of killing Michael or Trevor at the end of GTA 5? The real consequences without stupid ghost mods? I even brought a video here on the channel. Check it out later if you want. Back to the main question. The question here is, Johnny Klebitz, how did he go from a man who led a biker gang, challenged influential mobsters, invaded prisons, killing dozens of cops, to a guy who, like, is so mentally and physically weak? The answer may seem complex, but it's not. The answer to Johnny Klebitz's problem is simple. It's called Ashley. Ashley is a drug addict. Since GTA 4, she does everything to get some money to keep her addiction. We see in several missions the troubles she ends up getting into. And besides, we find out that she was also abused by Ray Bottino, who gave her money and Johnny did missions for him. Even though she denied it, he himself tells Johnny this when he is about to try to kill Johnny.
You're gonna have to cut that shit out, Ray. It's not fucking cool.
I fucked Ashley, my friend, and now I'm gonna fuck you.
For those who played the story or even closely followed the biker DLC in GTA 4, we can see that Johnny loves Ashley, and no matter how much he says he won't help her anymore, he always ends up helping her in the end. Until finally, at the end of the game, he decides to break ties with her for good, both through an email where she says she was in rehab and such, and it didn't work out, you know, all that stuff, and also through a phone call, because after you finish the main story, Ashley ends up calling Johnny asking for money and help, and he refuses. This gives the impression to those who played this whole story that he really decided to cut ties with her.
Didn't think I'd hear from you again.
I didn't think I'd call you. You hear about Billy?
Yeah, I heard. Look, Johnny. Look, have you got any money? I need $40. I need it real bad, baby.
Not this time. You can kill yourself on your own. Goodbye, Ash.
However, despite all of this, we can see Ashley in GTA 5 and this time being used by Trevor to get the drugs she was addicted to, which suggests that at some point between 2008 and 2013, Johnny decides to give Ashley a second chance and take her out of the addiction, or at least try. But to everyone's surprise, instead of her getting out of addiction because of him, he ends up getting into addiction because of her, be it due to pressure, psychological problems, or even to try to experience what she was going through in an attempt to help her with more empathy or connection. He ends up becoming a completely demoralized and dependent man, without self-esteem and self-confidence, because the drugs destroyed not only his body, but mainly his mind.
Trevor! I'm talking to you, motherfucker! Fucking my girl, man. It's wrong. I don't mean nothing by it, man.
I know.
I'm messed up.
I know, cowboy. It's okay, man. Give me a hug, yeah.
12. Watching Johnny Klebitz's death in GTA 5 after confronting Trevor is by no means the saddest part of this story. The saddest part is seeing what Johnny became, a man who didn't even have the courage to look Trevor in the eyes. He didn't even bother to pull out a gun or engage in a violent fight to the death, thus having a dignified end to his story. What we can see in GTA 5 is what drugs are capable of doing to people's lives, and what they did to Johnny Klebitz's life because of Ashley. Rockstar didn't overlook the details of people living this life in real life, making it clear that most of the time those involved with drugs and gangs usually don't have a happy ending. Moreover, there is also another reason for Johnny to die this way, and it is the presentation of Trevor as someone beyond expectations. Seeing a protagonist from GTA 5 brutally murder the protagonist from the previous GTA after sleeping with his girlfriend is simply epic. Rockstar decided to take advantage of Johnny's decline to introduce Trevor in an impactful way from the very first encounter. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. 14. This was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and click right here next to the yellow arrow to see all the consequences of killing Michael or Trevor in GTA 5. No mods or tricks. You guys will definitely love it. And that's it, guys. Until the next video then, take care and see you later.